She called me a guest in the house I built brick by brick. My son just nodded, avoiding my eyes. They thought the old man was finished, broken. They were about to learn that foundations run deep, and old wood can still burn. If you're watching this, subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. Let me back up and tell you how it all started. It was the night of the engagement party. The house smelled like expensive perfume and something burning. My house? The one I spent 30 years building and paying for, in upstate New York. The oak floors gleamed. The chandeliers sparkled. Everything was perfect. Too perfect. Tyler, my son, was beaming. He looked sharp in his new suit. He had his arm around Claire. She was beautiful. I'll give her that. All smiles, glittering dress, and eyes that analyzed everything. She scanned the room like she was taking inventory. Emily, my wife, fluttered around, making sure everyone had a drink. She loved hosting. I stood by the fireplace, the one I built with river stones, watching my family celebrate. I should have felt pride, but something felt off. A cold draft in a warm room. Claire drifted over to me. Her smile was bright, too bright. The diamonds on her necklace caught the light, flashing aggressively. "David, it's such a lovely home," she said. Her voice was like honey. Sweet but sticky. "Thank you, Claire. It's seen a lot of good years." She traced the mantelpiece with her finger. "The oak mantel I carved myself. It's very traditional, very cozy. But Tyler and I have such modern tastes." She paused. Her eyes met mine. The smile didn't waver, but the temperature dropped 10 degrees. "We're excited to update things," she continued. "Update. Not change. Not redecorate. Update. Like I was outdated. A piece of old software ready for deletion." I tried to keep it light. "Well, the bones are good. That's what matters in an old house." Claire tilted her head. Her eyes narrowed just slightly. "Oh, absolutely. The bones are wonderful. But sometimes, David, you need to tear down the old to make room for the new. Fresh starts require bold moves." She smiled again and walked away, leaving me with the scent of her perfume and the echo of her words. Bold moves. I looked at Tyler across the room. He was watching her, completely captivated. He hadn't heard her, or maybe he had, and he agreed. A chill ran down my spine. The party suddenly felt too loud, the laughter too sharp. Later that night I was cleaning up. The caterers had gone. The house was quiet, except for the hum of the dishwasher. Emily was stacking plates, humming a tune I didn't recognize. "She's lovely, isn't she?" Emily said. Her eyes were shining. "She's got strong opinions," I replied, rinsing a champagne flute. "David, she's young, excited. Don't be so sensitive." Emily twisted her wedding ring around her finger. She always did that when she was anxious. Sensitive? She talked about tearing things down. In my house. She meant the wallpaper, David. The dreadful floral wallpaper in the guest room. "You know I hate it too," she sighed, turning to face me. "Please don't make this a problem where there isn't one. Tyler is finally happy. Don't ruin it." She walked out of the kitchen. The silence she left behind was heavy. It was the first time in 40 years Emily hadn't immediately sided with me. But it wouldn't be the last. A week later, the wallpaper was gone. Stripped bare, the walls were painted a sterile, cold gray, the color of a battleship. But that wasn't the worst part. My armchair was gone too. The worn leather one. The one I used to read to Tyler in when he was little. The one I sat in every night. I walked into the living room. The space felt wrong, empty. "Emily, where's my chair?" I called out. She appeared from the hallway, wiping her hands on a towel. She wouldn't look at me. "Oh, that..." Claire had it donated. "Donated? Without asking me? That was my chair. David, please." Her voice was tight, strained. She said it was cluttering the space. It was old. Dated. She bought a new one, modern, Italian leather. She pointed to a sleek, uncomfortable-looking piece of metal and leather in the corner. It looked like a torture device. I didn't argue. I couldn't. The shock was too great. I went into the garage later that day, and I found it. My chair. Shoved behind the lawnmower, under a dusty tarp. They hadn't donated it. They had thrown it away. I stood there, staring at it. It was just a chair, but it felt like a piece of me had been discarded. I knew then that this wasn't just about decorating. This was a takeover. I tried to talk to Tyler. We usually had dinner every Tuesday, just the two of us, a tradition since he graduated college. Miller and son business talk, father and son bonding. He canceled. A text message. 2 hours before. Sorry, Dad. Swamped with work. Claire says hi. Rain check? Swamped. He never used that word. That was Claire's word. I ate dinner alone at the big oak dining table. The house felt too big, too silent. The gray walls seemed to close in on me. I realized I was being erased, one small piece at a time, and my family was helping. I thought things couldn't get worse. I was wrong. The next day, I saw a familiar car pull into the driveway. Marilyn Carter, Emily's best friend. She was loud, nosy, and always dripping with fake sympathy. She never liked me. She walked in without knocking. The door was open. Claire must have left it open. Emily, you won't believe the progress, Marilyn chirped. She was holding a swatch of gray fabric. More gray. Marilyn saw me in the hallway. Her smile faltered for a second. Oh, David, didn't see you there. Liar. She always knew exactly where everyone was. Marilyn, what progress? I asked, keeping my voice steady. The living room. Claire has such vision. It's going to look like something out of a magazine. Finally getting rid of that dated look. Dated. That word again? Emily walked in, beaming. Isn't it exciting, David? So fresh, so clean. I looked at the gray fabric. It was the color of despair. It's certainly something, I said. Marilyn laughed too loud, a harsh, grating sound. Don't mind him, Emily. Men don't understand style. Especially older men. They just want their dusty old recliners. They laughed together. I was the joke, the obstacle, the old man clinging to the past. I thought they were just being insensitive. I didn't realize how deep the betrayal ran. Days blurred into weeks. The house became a showroom, cold, impersonal. I felt like a trespasser. Tyler was always busy. Claire was always there, smiling, organizing, controlling. I retreated to my study, my sanctuary, the only room they hadn't touched yet. Until one afternoon, I came back from a walk. I heard voices in the study. Claire was sitting at my desk, in my chair. She was on the phone, her voice low and sharp. Businesslike. He's just difficult, she said into the phone. So stuck in his ways, resistant to change. But Tyler is finally seeing the light. I froze in the hallway. The floorboards felt cold under my feet. He's realizing how much his father holds him back. Claire continued. Honestly, he's just taking up space. We need this house for our future. We need the business to thrive. He needs to understand that his time is over. His time is over. The words hit me like a physical blow, a verdict delivered without a trial. I backed away silently. My heart pounded in my chest. I couldn't breathe. This wasn't just about style or modernization. This was about execution. They thought I was weak, old, useless. They were about to find out they were wrong. I started watching her. Not obviously, discreetly. I observed her routines, her phone calls, her interactions. Claire was careful, smart. She knew exactly how to manipulate people. She played the perfect fiancée. Sweet to Tyler, showering him with affection and praise. Helpful to Emily, bonding over recipes and gardening tips. Respectful to me, but only when others were watching. When we were alone, the mask slipped. I was in the kitchen, making coffee. The smell of the beans was the only comfort I had left. She walked in, already dressed in expensive workout clothes, ready for her Pilates class. David, could you please use a coaster? You're ruining the new marble, the marble she picked out. The marble I paid for, the marble that replaced the worn butcher block counters, I installed myself. I looked at her, my reflection warped in the shiny surface. An old man staring back at me. I built this kitchen, Claire, and you did a wonderful job. 20 years ago, now please respect the updates. We have standards now, standards. Her voice was sweet, but her eyes were cold steel. I put the mug down on the counter, deliberately missing the coaster. A small ring of coffee stained the pristine marble. Her jaw tightened, a flicker of pure rage in her eyes, a crack in the porcelain facade. Then the smile returned, plastered on. You're acting like a child, David. Don't be petulant. She walked away. I knew I had rattled her. It felt good, a small victory in a losing war, but I knew it would cost me later. The next incident was bigger. It involved a company, Miller and Son Construction. They built it from nothing. Sweat, sawdust, and sheer determination. Tyler joined me 5 years ago. It was supposed to be his legacy. I walked into the office on a Monday morning. The familiar smell of wood and machine oil greeted me. But something was wrong. My office, the corner suite with the view, the one I had occupied for decades. It was empty. My desk, my chair, my photos, gone. I found my belongings shoved into a small office near the supply closet. Windowless, cramped. The closet. I found Tyler in my old office, his office now. He was sitting at a new, massive, mahogany desk, looking stressed. "What is this, Tyler?" My voice was dangerously low. He jumped. He rubbed the back of his neck. He always did that when he was nervous. A teller since he was a kid. "Dad, I was going to tell you." Claire suggested a reorganization, more efficient workflow. "Efficient? You moved me into a closet." "The founder of this company." "It's not a closet, Dad. It's a perfectly good office. You're barely here anyway. You're practically retired." "I am not retired, Tyler. This is Miller and Son. I am Miller." "I know that, Dad, but I'm the son. And I'm taking on more responsibility now. I'm running things." Claire thinks. Claire thinks. Since when does Claire run this company? She's not family. Not yet. Tyler stiffened. His eyes hardened. "She's going to be my wife. Her input matters. She has a business degree. From Wharton." "Unlike you." That stung. "I built this company with my hands. Not a fancy degree. I learned about foundations and load-bearing walls by digging the wrenches and hammering the nails." Tyler threw the blueprints down on the desk. "Why do you have to fight everything? Why can't you just be happy for me and step back? Let me handle things. I am happy for you. I am not happy about being pushed out. Disrespected. No one is pushing you out." He exploded. "You're being paranoid. You're seeing shadows where there aren't any. You're making things difficult for everyone. Especially Claire." Paranoid. The word felt like a slap. Gaslighting. I looked at my son. He looked like me. My features. My build. But his eyes. They were distant. Cold. Claire's eyes. "I'm not paranoid, Tyler. I'm paying attention." I walked out. I needed air. I realized the takeover wasn't just the house. It was everything. My entire life's work. That evening, the atmosphere in the house was glacial. We ate dinner in silence. Claire kept smiling, picking at her salad, pretending everything was normal. A psychopath smile. Emily kept twisting her ring, her eyes darting between me and Tyler, desperate for peace. Tyler avoided my eyes completely, focusing on his steak like it held the answers to the universe. I felt utterly alone, surrounded by my family, yet completely isolated. Then came the first major betrayal, the one that broke the dam. After dinner, Claire tapped her wine glass with a spoon, a sharp, high sound that cut through the silence. "We have an announcement," she beamed, looking radiant. Tyler looked nervous, shifting his weight from foot to foot. Emily looked hopeful, desperate for good news. Tyler and I have been talking about our future. About starting a family right away. A big family. Emily gasped, delighted. "Oh, how wonderful." "Grandchildren, finally," Claire continued, her voice smooth as silk. "And we realized we're going to need more space. A lot more space.
This house is big, but the layout isn't ideal for a growing family."
She looked directly at me. The smile didn't reach her eyes. They were chips of ice. "David, Emily, we think it's time you considered moving into the guest house." The guest house. The small, cramped cottage out back, away from the main house. Away from them. A servant's quarters. Silence, heavy, suffocating silence. Emily looked shocked. Her smile faded. Her face paled. "The guest house? But we live here. This is our home. We raised Tyler here." Claire reached out and patted Emily's hand, patronizing. "It's a lovely cottage, cozy, and it will give you privacy, less upkeep, and us the space we need to raise our children. Your grandchildren." She weaponized the grandchildren, a calculated move. "Privacy? We are a family," I said, my voice trembling with suppressed rage. We are, but families grow and change. We need the master bedroom. We need the nursery. We need the main house. She made it sound so reasonable, so logical. But it was cruel. It was a banishment. I looked at Tyler. Tyler, what do you have to say about this? Do you agree with this insanity? He looked down at his plate. He wouldn't meet my eyes. The coward. Dad, it makes sense. The main house is too big for you two now. You rattle around in it. The guest house is perfect. Too big. The house I built for them. For him. I built this house. Tyler, every nail, every beam. I am not moving into the guest house. I am not leaving my home. Claire sighed, exasperated. David, please don't be difficult. It's a logical step. We need to move forward. Difficult. There was that word again. The label they used to dismiss my feelings. My rights. I stood up. The chair scraped loudly against the floor. I will not be banished from my own home. I will not be erased. I walked out. I heard Emily whisper, David, wait. Let's talk about this. Let's compromise. But I didn't stop. I couldn't. Compromise was just another word for surrender. I went into the study and closed the door. My hands were shaking. I realized I was losing everything. My house, my business, my son. And the worst part, I still didn't understand why it was happening so fast. Why the sudden urgency? I needed help. I needed someone outside this madness. I called Mark Thompson, my lawyer, an old friend I'd known since high school. We played football together. He was tough, smart. Mark, it's David. I need to see you. Urgently. Mark heard the strain in my voice. David, what's wrong? You sound terrible. Everything, Mark. Everything is wrong. My family has turned against me. I scheduled a meeting for the next day. I felt a flicker of hope. Maybe Mark could help me stop this insanity. Mark's office was quiet. Polished wood and the smell of strong black coffee. He always drank it black. He looked worried, his brow furrowed. I told him everything. The decorating changes. The office move. The guest house. Ultimatum. The coldness from Tyler. The silence from Emily. He listened patiently, taking notes on a yellow legal pad. His pen scratched across the paper, the only sound in the room. David, this is concerning, he said finally, leaning back in his chair. It sounds like a calculated effort to isolate you, to diminish your role, a hostile takeover. I know, but what can I do? It's my house, my company, my family. Legally, you're protected, Mark said firmly. The house is in your and Emily's name. The company is structured so you have majority control. 51%. I felt a wave of relief wash over me. Good. So I can stop this. I can kick her out. Yes. But you need to be careful, David. This isn't just a legal battle, it's a family battle. And those are the messiest. The most painful. If you push too hard, you might lose Tyler forever. He was right. I didn't want to fight my son. I wanted my son back. I wanted the boy I raised, not this cold stranger wearing his face. Mark gave me advice. Document everything. Keep communication calm. Set firm boundaries. Don't agree to anything in writing. I left his office feeling stronger, more prepared. I had a plan. I went home determined to fix things. To talk to Emily, to make her see what was happening. To break Claire's spell. But Claire was always one step ahead. She knew how to play the game. I found Emily in the garden. She was planting tulips, her hands deep in the soil. Her sanctuary. Emily, we need to talk. Alone. She didn't look up. She kept digging. About what, David? The same argument we've been having for weeks. About Claire, about what she's doing to us. To this family. She's poisoning everything, she sighed, sitting back on her heels, wiping sweat from her brow. Not this again. David, you're overreacting. You're letting your pride get in the way of Tyler's happiness. Overreacting? She wants to kick us out of our home. She's taken over the business. Emily stood up, wiping dirt on her jeans. Her face was set in a stubborn mask. She's thinking about the future, about grandchildren. Don't you want grandchildren, David? Don't you want to see Tyler settled and happy? Of course I do, but not like this. Not at the cost of our dignity, our self-respect. Like what? They are young. They need space. The guest house is lovely. It's charming. We could fix it up. Make it our own. Charming. Claire's word. She was parroting her. Emily, whose side are you on? Her eyes flashed with anger. I am on the side of peace, David. I am tired of the tension. The fighting, the walking on eggshells around you. I just want everyone to be happy, even if it means sacrificing our home, our life, me. It's just a house, David. Bricks and mortar. We built it together. We can be happy anywhere as long as we have our family. That's not the point, Emily, and you know it. We are losing our family. We are losing Tyler. She turned away. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I won't let you ruin Tyler's happiness with your stubbornness. She walked back into the house. The door clicked shut behind her. A final sound. I stood alone in the garden. The tulips looked like drops of blood in the soil. I realized then that Emily was lost to me too. Claire had gotten to her, played on her desire for peace, her fear of conflict, her desperate need for grandchildren. I was truly alone in this fight. The next few days were torture. I tried to follow Mark's advice. I stayed calm. I set boundaries. But Claire pushed back harder. She saw my resistance as a challenge, a game to be won. She started having meetings in the house. Business meetings, with clients I didn't know, investors, sharp suits and predatory smiles. I walked into the living room one afternoon. Claire was there with two men. They were laughing. Champagne flutes in their hands. David, this is Mr. Harrison and Mr. Lee, Claire said. Gesturing casually, they are interested in investing heavily in Miller & Son. We're expanding. Investing? We didn't need investors. We were financially solid, debt-free. We are not looking for investors, I said, keeping my voice steady but firm. We are a family business. Claire laughed lightly, a dismissive sound. Oh, David, you need to keep up with the times. Expansion is key. We're going national, maybe even international. Mr. Harrison looked at me with pity in his eyes. Condescension. It's admirable that you built this company, Mr. Miller, a solid foundation. But sometimes you need new blood, new vision, to take it to the next level. The world is changing. New blood. They were talking about me like I was a liability, a drain on the company, an anchor holding them back. I looked at Claire. Her ambition was naked, raw, terrifying. This meeting is over. Gentlemen, please leave my house. My company is not for sale. Claire's smile vanished. Her eyes blazed with fury. David, you are embarrassing me. We are in the middle of multi-million-dollar negotiations. I am protecting my company, my 51%. I looked directly at the investors. There will be no expansion, no new partners. Good day. The men stood up, looking uncomfortable. They muttered their goodbyes and left quickly. The door closed behind them. Claire glared at me, her face red with fury. Her mask was completely gone now. You just cost us a fortune. You just ruined Tyler's future. Our future. I just saved our company from a hostile takeover. From you. She stepped closer. Her voice was low and venomous. You are a stubborn, selfish old man. You are destroying this family because you can't let go of control. You can't stand that Tyler might be more successful than you. No, Claire. You are destroying this family because you want control? You want money? My money. She stormed out. I knew this was war now, open war, and I felt like I was losing. The ground was crumbling beneath my feet. That night, the breaking point came. The moment when I realized I couldn't take any more, the moment the cracks became a chasm. I was in the study, looking over the company accounts. I hadn't checked them in weeks. I trusted Tyler. My mistake. Something didn't add up. The numbers were wrong. Money was missing. A lot of money. I checked the transfers. Large sums. $10,000. Here. $20,000 there. Authorized by Tyler. But the destination accounts were unknown. Offshore. Cayman Islands. My blood ran cold. The realization hit me like a freight train. I waited for Tyler to come home. He was late. Again, out with Claire, celebrating their imaginary expansion. When he finally walked in, smelling of wine and her perfume, I confronted him in the hallway, the evidence in my hand. "Tyler, we need to talk. About the accounts. About the missing money." He froze. His eyes darted away, guilt written all over his face. "The accounts? What about them? Can it wait until morning?" "I'm tired. Money is missing. $75,000. Transferred to unknown accounts. Authorized by you." He rubbed the back of his neck. The nervous tick. "Oh, that. It's complicated. Business expenses. Retainers for the expansion. The investors? What kind of business expenses? Show me the invoices, the contracts. The investors I kicked out today? I don't have them right now. Claire handled the paperwork. It's all legit, Dad. Don't worry. Claire, always Claire. The puppet master. Tyler, you are embezzling money from our company. From me, you are stealing." He exploded. His face turned ugly, red and blotchy. "Embezzling? How dare you accuse me of that? I am working my ass off for this company. More than you ever did in the last few years. Working or stealing? Lying? Dad, you don't understand. We needed the capital for the expansion. To secure the deal you ruined out of spite." He stepped closer, towering over me, his face red with anger, his eyes blazing with resentment. "You are suffocating this company. You are suffocating me. You can't stand that I'm better at this than you are, that I have vision." He paused, breathing hard. Then he delivered the final blow, the one that shattered my heart. "Claire was right. You were paranoid, jealous. Maybe you're even getting senile. Maybe you shouldn't be involved in the business at all." Senile? The word hit me harder than any punch. My own son, calling me senile. I looked at him, really looked at him. He wasn't my son anymore. He was a stranger, a greedy, weak stranger. I felt something break inside me, a deep, agonizing crack in my soul. My foundation crumbling. I didn't say anything. I couldn't. The pain was too much, too deep. I turned and walked away. I went upstairs, into the bedroom I shared with Emily for 40 years. I looked in the mirror. The man staring back at me looked old, tired, defeated. Maybe they were right. Maybe I was finished. They had won. They had broken me. I sat on the edge of the bed. The house was silent. The silence screamed at me. Betrayal. Failure. I thought about everything I had sacrificed. The long hours, the missed holidays, the sweat, the blood, all for them, for Tyler. And this was how they repaid me, by stealing from me, by calling me senile, by banishing me from my own life. I felt a wave of despair wash over me, heavy and suffocating. I wanted to give up, to just disappear. But then I saw it, a flicker of anger beneath the pain, a spark in the darkness. No, I would not disappear. I would not go quietly into the night. If they wanted a war, I would give them a war. I didn't sleep that night. I planned. I strategized. I turned my pain into fuel. Cold, hard fuel. The next morning, I went back to Mark Thompson's office. I looked different, harder. My eyes were clear. My resolve firm. "Mark, I need you to dig deeper into Claire Johnson. Everything about her. Her past. Her finances. Her connections. I want to know everything. I want dirt." Mark looked concerned by the change in me. "David, what did you find?" "Missing money, 75,000. And I think that's just the tip of the iceberg. I think I'm dealing with something much darker than just greed. I think I'm dealing with a professional." Mark agreed. He hired a private investigator, a discreet one, expensive but necessary. A former FBI agent specialized in fraud, named Agent Davis. I went back to the house. I played the role of the defeated old man. I stayed quiet. I avoided confrontation. I kept my head down. I even started packing a few boxes. Claire loved it. She thought she had finally broken my spirit. She thought she had won. She became bolder, more reckless, more arrogant, and that was her mistake. Arrogance leads to carelessness. A few days later, Agent Davis called Mark. What he found? was shocking. It chilled me to the bone. Mark called me immediately. "David, you need to come to my office. Now, don't tell anyone where you were going." I went, my heart pounded with anticipation and dread. Mark was waiting for me, his face grim. He handed me a thick file. "Claire Johnson doesn't exist," he said. I stared at him. "What do you mean?" "She's right there, in my house. Her real name is Clara Jones. She's a con artist, a professional predator, a black widow. She has a record. Fraud, embezzlement, identity theft." I opened the file. Mugshots, arrest records, newspaper clippings, the same beautiful face, but the eyes were different. Dead. She targets wealthy families, seduced the son, isolates the parents, takes control of the finances, bleeds them dry and vanishes. She's done this 3 times before, in 3 different states. I felt sick to my stomach. My son was engaged to a criminal, a viper I welcomed in my home. If this story is keeping you hooked, drop a like. It was that moment I knew I had to protect him, even if he hated me for it. But that wasn't the worst part. Agent Davis found something else, a connection, a deep, dark connection that explained everything. Clara Jones wasn't working alone. She had a partner, someone who knew the family, someone who orchestrated the entire plot. Uncle Robert, my estranged brother. Robert and I hadn't spoken in 20 years. We had a bitter falling out over the business. He always felt I cheated him out of his share. He was jealous, bitter, vengeful. He always wanted what I had, and now he was using Claire, to destroy me, to take everything I had built. The house, the business, the family, the pieces clicked into place. The sudden appearance of Claire in Tyler's life, the calculated attacks on my authority, the financial maneuvers with the business, the speed of the takeover, the investors. It wasn't random, it was planned, meticulously planned, a revenge plot decades in the making. I felt a cold rage settle over me. This wasn't just about money or the house. This was personal. This was venomous. A blood feud. Robert wanted to ruin me, to humiliate me, and he was using my own son as the weapon to do it. I needed proof, hard evidence, undeniable proof, to expose them, to save Tyler. I started digging into the company finances myself, late at night when everyone was asleep. I used my old login credentials. They hadn't changed them yet. Idiots. They underestimated me. I found more missing money. A lot more. Nearly $250,000 in total. Transferred to offshore accounts. Laundered through shell corporations. The trail was complex. Professional. And I found the communication trail. Emails, encrypted messages. Between Tyler and Robert. Robert was advising Tyler on the expansion, the investors, the reorganization, the hostile takeover. He was poisoning Tyler against me, feeding his insecurities, telling him I was holding him back, that I didn't trust him, that I didn't respect him, that I was jealous of his success. He manipulated Tyler's ambition and his resentment, turned my son against me. I confronted Tyler again. This time I wasn't angry. I was calm, cold, determined. "Tyler, we need to talk about Robert. And about Claire, or should I say Clara?" He paled. His eyes widened with fear. He knew I knew. "Robert, what about him? I haven't spoken to him in years. And Claire? What are you talking about? You're lying. You've been talking to him constantly. He's advising you on the business. Behind my back, and Claire is his partner, his accomplice." He stammered, backtracking, desperate. "Dad, it's not like that. Robert reached out a few months ago, wanted to reconnect, to mentor me. He's changed. Reconnect? Or manipulate you? He's using you, Tyler, to get back at me, to destroy me. And Claire is helping him." He laughed nervously, a desperate sound. "Claire? What does Claire have to do with this? You're sounding crazy, Dad. Senile. Claire Johnson doesn't exist. Her name is Clara Jones. She's a con artist, a criminal, and she's working with Robert. They are partners. Lovers, maybe. Tyler stared at me, horrified. His world was crumbling. You're lying. You're making this up. To break us up. Because you hate her. You always hated her. I have proof, Tyler. The private investigator's report. The financial records. The emails between you and Robert. The photos of Claire meeting Robert. I showed him the evidence. The grainy photos of Claire and Robert deep in conversation in a dimly lit bar. Kissing. The bank statements. Highlighting the transfers. The damning emails where they discussed their plan, their endgame. He looked at the evidence. His hands were shaking. His face was ashen. The realization hit him hard. No, this can't be true. Claire loves me. She told me she loved me. We are getting married. We are starting a family. She loves your money, Tyler. Our money. She's playing you, just like Robert is playing you. They saw you as the weak link, the easy target, the fool. He sank into a chair, his face buried in his hands. He started sobbing, deep, wrenching sobs. He was devastated, broken, humiliated. I felt a pang of pity for him. He was a victim too, a fool, blinded by love and ambition, manipulated by masters. But a victim. But I couldn't afford pity right now. I needed his help. I needed to act, fast. Before they realized we were on to them. Before they vanished with the money. Tyler, you need to help me stop them. To save the company. To save yourself. He looked up, his eyes red with tears. How? They control everything. I'm ruined. We need to trap them, to catch them in the act. To expose them. I told him the plan. A risky plan, a dangerous plan. It required him to play a role. To lie to Claire, to the woman he loved. He agreed. He was scared. But he was also angry. A deep, burning anger. The anger of betrayal. We planned an intervention, not for me, for them. A confrontation where we would expose everything, in front of everyone. The family, the lawyer, the police. The stage was set. The players were in place. The storm was about to break. I called a family meeting, Sunday afternoon. I told them it was important, that I had made a decision about the house and the business, that I was ready to surrender, to sign the papers. They all came. Emily, Tyler, Claire. I even convinced Emily to invite Marilyn Carter for moral support. I wanted her to witness the downfall of her idol, and I invited Uncle Robert. I told him Tyler needed his guidance for the transition of power, the final victory lap. He came eagerly, like a vulture circling a dying animal. They gathered in the living room, the gray, cold living room Claire had designed. The room that symbolized my erasure. Claire looked radiant, triumphant. She wore a white dress. Ironic. She thought she had won. She thought I was going to hand over the keys to the kingdom. Robert sat next to her, a smug look on his face. He kept cracking his knuckles, a nervous habit he had since we were kids. He was savoring the moment. Emily sat on the edge of the sofa, twisting her ring, looking anxious, relieved that the fight was over. Marilyn next to her, looking self-satisfied. Tyler stood next to me. He was pale, his hands clenched into fists, but his jaw was set. He was ready. Mark Thompson, my lawyer, was also there. I told them he was there to finalize the paperwork. I stood in front of the fireplace, the same spot where this whole nightmare began. Thank you all for coming. I know there has been a lot of tension lately. About the house, about the business, about my role in this family. Claire smiled sweetly, condescendingly. David, we appreciate you finally coming around. We know this is hard for you, but it's for the best. For everyone. Oh, it is hard, I said, my voice steady, but not for the reasons you think. I looked at Robert. Robert, it's good to see you again. After all these years. It's touching how you reconnected with Tyler, mentoring him. He nodded curtly. David, I'm here for Tyler, to support him in his new role. He deserves it. Support him, or manipulate him, mentor him, or use him to get your revenge on me. Robert stiffened. His eyes narrowed. The smirk faded. What are you talking about? Revenge? You're delusional, David. You always were. Paranoid. Am I? Then explain the emails. The phone calls. The meticulous advice you gave Tyler on how to dismantle my control behind my back. How to steal my company. I nodded at Mark. He placed a stack of printed emails on the coffee table. The communication trail. Robert glared at Tyler. His face turned purple with rage. You told him? You weak little fool. You betrayed me. Tyler stepped forward, his voice shaking but strong. I did. I know what you did, Robert. How you poisoned me against my own father. How you used me. The room erupted. Emily was crying. Robert? Is this true? Marilyn was whispering furiously to her, her face pale. But I wasn't finished. The main event was still to come, the final blow. I turned to Claire, or Clara, and you, Claire Johnson. Or should I say Clara Jones? Her smile vanished. Her eyes turned to ice. She froze. The blood drained from her face. I don't know what you're talking about. That's not my name. You're confused. Don't you? Then explain your past. The other families you destroyed, the money you stole, the trail of devastation you left behind, the 3 other men you left ruined. Mark placed the private investigator's report on the table. Photos of her with other men, other families. Mugshots from 3 different states. The evidence of her crimes. You are a con artist, a criminal, a fraud, and you are working with Robert. He found you. He hired you to destroy my family, to seduce my son. Claire stood up, her face flushed with anger and fear. This is outrageous. You are lying. These are fake. He's trying to frame me. Am I? Then explain the missing money. $150,000. Transferred from Miller & Son to offshore accounts. Authorized by Tyler, but orchestrated by you to be split with Robert. Your getaway money. Mark placed the bank statements on the table. The forensic accounting report. The undeniable proof of embezzlement. The silence that followed was deafening. Claire looked at Robert, a flicker of panic in her eyes. She was trapped, cornered. Robert glared at me, his face a mask of pure hatred. You think you've won? You haven't won anything. You're still an old, pathetic man who destroyed his own family. I haven't won, but I have exposed you, both of you. Claire turned to Tyler, her voice desperate, pleading. The damsel in distress act. Tyler, baby. Don't believe him. He's trying to break us up. He's jealous of us, of our love. Tell them, baby. Tell them it's not true. Tyler looked at her with pure disgust. Love, you don't know the meaning of the word. It's over, Claire. I know the truth. I know what you are. I know you were playing me. She stared at him, realization dawning on her face. She had lost him. Her leverage was gone. Her puppet had cut his strings. Her mask shattered. The sweet fiancé vanished, replaced by a cornered animal, vicious and snarling. You stupid boy, she hissed at Tyler. You weak fool. You deserve everything that happens to you. I should have known you didn't have the guts to finish the job. Then she turned to me, and you stubborn old man, you ruined everything. I should have bled you dry. She grabbed her purse and lunged for the door. But it was locked. Mark had locked it. The front door opened. 2 police officers walked in. Detective Harris, a sharp-looking woman in a suit, led the way. Agent Davis was behind her. Clara Jones, Detective Harris said, her voice calm. You are under arrest for fraud, grand larceny, and conspiracy. You have the right to remain silent. Claire screamed as they put the handcuffs on her. A high-pitched, ugly sound. The sound of defeat. Robert stood up, sputtering. This is a setup. You can't arrest me. I didn't do anything. It was all her. Robert Miller, Detective Harris said, turning to him. You are also under arrest. We have enough evidence to hold you both. The emails, the financial records, the conspiracy. They led them away. The vultures were finally caged. The revenge plot shattered. The room was silent, except for Emily's quiet sobbing. Marilyn stood up, looking uncomfortable, trying to sneak out. Emily, I should go? This is a family matter? I stopped her. No, Marilyn, you stay. You were part of this too. She paled. I don't know what you mean. I had no idea about any of this. You knew, maybe not the details, but you knew what Claire was doing. You saw her manipulating Emily. isolating me, and you supported her. You encouraged Emily to turn against me, because you were jealous, jealous of our life, our happiness. Emily looked at her, horrified. Marilyn, is this true? Did you push me away from David? Marilyn stammered, her facade crumbling. I just wanted you to be happy. Claire seemed so good for Tyler. David was being so difficult, so negative. Happy? By destroying her husband, her family, her life. Emily stood up, her eyes blazing with a fury I hadn't seen in years. Get out, Marilyn. Get out of my house. And don't ever come back. Our friendship is over. Marilyn scurried out, shamefaced and broken. We were alone now. Me, Emily, Tyler, and Mark. The wreckage of our family scattered around us. The silence was heavy with grief and regret. Emily looked at me, tears streaming down her face. David, I'm so sorry. I didn't see it. I didn't want to see it. I was so blinded by the promise of happiness, by the fear of conflict. I know, Emily, I know. I reached out and took her hand. She squeezed it tightly. The connection was still there. Fragile but real. We had a long way to go. Tyler looked at me, his eyes filled with shame and regret. Dad, I don't know what to say. I betrayed you. I stole from you. I called you senile. You did, Tyler, and that hurt more than you could possibly imagine. More than the money. More than the house. He hung his head. I deserve your anger. I deserve to lose everything. The company. You do, but you are also my son. And I love you. He looked up surprised, hope flickering in his eyes. We have a lot to fix, Tyler. A lot of trust to rebuild. The road back will be long, hard, but we will walk it together. He nodded, tears welling up in his eyes. He hugged me tightly, a real hug, a father and son hug. Thank you, Dad. Thank you for saving me from them, from myself. The storm had passed, but the damage remained, and the rebuilding was just beginning. The next few days were a blur of activity. Detective Harris took our statements. Mark handled the legal fallout. The arrest made the local news. The scandal rocked our quiet community. Clara had a long record. The DA was confident. She was facing serious prison time. 20 years, maybe more. Robert, too. The evidence against him was overwhelming. Conspiracy, fraud, embezzlement. He tried to blame everything on Claire, claiming she manipulated him too. But the communication trail proved his involvement, his leadership. He was ruined, his reputation shattered, his freedom gone. The revenge he sought had hurted him instead. A poetic justice. The news spread like wildfire. The scandal, the betrayal, the arrests. Our private life was suddenly public. People talked, whispered, judged. But I didn't care. I held my head high. I had my family back, or what was left of it. And that was all that mattered. We were survivors. We started rebuilding, slowly, carefully, brick by brick. Tyler was devastated. He had loved the illusion of Claire, believed in her lies. He felt like a fool, humiliated, used. He took a leave of absence from the company. He needed time to heal, to figure things out, to find himself again. He started therapy. I supported him. I was there for him. We started having dinner every Tuesday again. Just the two of us. The conversations were difficult, honest, raw, but they were healing. The gap between us was closing. Emily and I started talking too, really talking. For the first time in years, she admitted her fears, her insecurities, her desperation for Tyler's happiness, her desire for peace at any cost. I was so afraid of losing Tyler, she confessed one night, her voice thick with emotion. I thought if I sided with Claire, I would keep him close. I didn't realize I was pushing him further away, and pushing you away. But you lost me instead, I said gently. I know, and I am so sorry, David. I will spend the rest of my life making it up to you, earning back your trust. We started couples therapy. Hard work, painful work, but necessary work. The foundation of our marriage needed repair. We started redecorating the house. Together, we painted the cold gray walls warm colors again. Yellows, Reds, colors of life, of hope. We brought my old armchair back from the garage, cleaned it up, polished the leather, placed it by the fireplace. My throne, the house started feeling like home again, our home, a sanctuary. The company needed rebuilding too. The missing money had hurt us financially, but we survived. We weathered the storm. I took back control. I restructured the finances, secured the assets. Mark helped me set up firewalls to prevent future fraud. I hired new people, loyal people, honest people. Miller and Son was standing strong. My legacy was safe. Months passed. Life slowly returned to a new normal, a quieter normal, a wiser normal. Robert was convicted, sentenced to 10 years in prison. I felt no joy in his downfall, just a profound sadness for the brotherhood we had lost, for the bitterness that consumed him. Claire was also convicted, 15 years. Justice was served, but the scars she left behind would take longer to heal. One afternoon, I was sitting in my armchair, reading a book. The house was quiet, peaceful. The sunlight streamed through the windows. Emily walked in, holding 2 cups of coffee. She handed me one. "A penny for your thoughts," she said, smiling. A real smile, a smile that reached her eyes. I was just thinking how close we came to losing everything. But we didn't, David. We survived. We are stronger now, together. She was right. We were scarred, but we were unbroken. Our foundation was solid. Tyler came over for dinner that night. He looked better, healthier. His eyes were clear. The shadows were gone.
"Dad, I've been thinking. I want to come back to the company, but I want to start from the bottom. Driving trucks, swinging a hammer, learn the business from the ground up. The way you did. Earn my place, earn your respect." I felt a swell of pride. He had grown up, matured.
He finally understood what it meant to build something, to earn it. "I think that's a great idea, Tyler. Welcome back, son." We ate dinner together, laughing, talking like a real family. The sound was warm, comforting, healing. I looked around the table. My wife, my son, my home. I had fought for this, fought hard, and I had won. A year later, I was standing in the garden. The tulips were in full bloom, a riot of color. I had started a new project, a small one, a treehouse for my future grandchildren. I was sanding the wood. The smell of sawdust filled the air, a familiar comfort. I heard a car pull into the driveway. It was Tyler and a young woman. She was different from Claire, warm, genuine. Her smile reached her eyes. She had a kind face, an honest face. Tyler introduced her. "Dad, this is Sarah." I shook her hand. It was a firm grip, honest. "Sarah, it's a pleasure to meet you." She smiled. "It's a pleasure to meet you too, David. Tyler talks about you all the time. He admires you so much." I looked at Tyler. He was happy, truly happy. I smiled. The old contractor still had a few tools left in his belt. I was no longer just surviving. I was living on my own terms. The foundation was strong, the house was safe, and the future was bright. Thanks for listening. Please rate our story in the comments. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe. Your support means a lot, because your time matters.